Welcome back to study section 10 on HG 302. In the previous study section, we discussed sole proprietorship and partnership form of business organization, under which we discussed the meaning, types, and characteristics feature for each of the form of business organization. In this study section, we shall discuss corporate organization or limited liability company and cooperative. Under limited liability company, emphasis will be on the type of limited liability company, their characteristics, formation, advantages, and disadvantages. At the end of this study section, you should be able to explain the meaning of corporate organization, its characteristics, advantages, and disadvantages. And second, you should be able to explain the meaning of cooperative, its characteristics, advantages, and disadvantages. Let's talk about these learning outcomes one after the other. Limited liability company is an expansion of a partnership principle. It aims at securing a better method of mobilizing financial resources. The company comes into existence when a number of persons join together to invest their money in a common enterprise. The liability of each investor for the debt of the business is limited to the amount of his capital invested in the company. The profits of the company are distributed in proportion to the shares subscribed and being paid for. The limited liability company is owned and controlled by the shareholders. Each shareholder receives a share of the profits called the dividend. Limited liability companies are of two types, which are the private limited company and the public limited liability company, or the joint stock company. The two types are essentially the same, but the major differences between them is that in private limited company, the number of the owners who are shareholders ranges from 2 to 50. While in the public limited liability company, the minimum number of the shareholders is 7 and there is no maximum number for it. So private limited liability company is called private or closed because purchase of shares is restricted to only the founders. In contrast, public limited liability company is open to everyone in the society who is interested in the ownership of the company. Characteristics of the limited liability company are 1. Number of shareholders. For private limited liability company, the number of shareholders ranges from 2 to 50. For public limited company, the number of shareholders starts from 7 and no maximum. Separate legal entity. This business is a separate legal entity and it is being recognized as a personality in the law. The business can sue and be sued in its own name without involving the owners because it is being registered as a corporate body. There is continuity of business. The withdrawal or death of a shareholder may not affect the existence of the company. The board of directors. There is no board of directors who controls the business of taking most of the major day-to-day decisions. Acquisition of capital. Capital is raised through the use of shares. Capital can also be raised through borrowing from financial institutions and EU debentures. The following are the characteristics of limited liability companies. 1. Legal entity. The business has a separate legal entity and as a result makes it to distinct from the owners. It can therefore be sued in its own right. Limited liability. In the event of business failure, the maximum amount of a shareholder can lose is the amount of capital he has contributed to the business. His personal assets are being protected by the law. Thirdly, we have the large capital. The business has large resources of capital because of the large number of shareholders in the company. Sure of continuity. There is continuity of the business on the death or illness of a shareholder. transfer of capital. The shares of a public limited liability company are easily transferable for cash. The following are the disadvantages of limited liability company. 1. Difficult to establish. Due to government interest in this type of business organization, the formalities for its establishment are usually very complicated, required large amounts of capital. Apart from the formalities required to establish the business, company also required huge amounts of money or capital to start the business. Delay in decision making. There is delay in decision making because of the relatively large size of the business. Lack of privacy. It is required by law for the company to make public all the financial activities and operations of the business. Ownership is separated from management. Since the shareholders who are the owners of the business are separated from the management of the business, there may be a negative attitude among the managers towards the interests of the shareholders. Cooperative is a form of business voluntarily owned, organized, and upgraded by members for their mutual benefit. Unlike corporate business, the control is on the members and no individual is allowed to have controlling share. It is expected that most of the business of cooperative should be carried out with the members' patron. Therefore, after paying all the costs, the profit or surplus is returned to members in form of patronage refund. The primary purpose of cooperative business is to give good services to its member and to return any surplus or profit arising from this operation to its owners. Characteristics of cooperative societies are open membership. The principle implies that cooperative business should be open to all those who are interested. There is no limit to the size of its membership. Democratic control. The principle implies the concept of one man, one vote. Each member has one vote only and can stand for election into any office. Limited return on capital. Cooperative society exists primarily to provide services to their members at the lowest possible cost. Hence, cooperators should not be expected to make large returns on their investment capital. And also, we have cash transaction only. Members of the cooperatives are expected to purchase or sell produce strictly on cash basis. This means that no transaction credit is allowed on basis. Payment of goods purchased is strictly adhered to. Religious or political neutrality. This implies that membership of cooperative society should be open to all irrespective of religion, political or ethnic differences. The following are the types of cooperative society, which includes producer cooperative society, consumer cooperative society, market cooperative society, thrift and credit cooperative society, multi-purpose cooperative society, and other cooperative society. Kindly read more explanation about all the types of cooperative society in your study materials. The following are the advantages of cooperative. 1. Encouragement of savings. Cooperative thrift and credit society encourage their members to save their money. This function is very important in Nigerian rural areas where commercial banks are very few. Provision of loans. Cooperative can raise loans for agricultural practices or other forms of production easily and at low interest rates. Cooperative can borrow money more easily in bank than individual farmers. Education and training of members. Cooperative educates their members in the area of production, distribution, consumption, and marketing of goods and services. They are democratic in nature. All members of the cooperative society have equal right to vote and be voted for. They have equal right to say how the society should be organized. The following are the disadvantages of cooperative society. Low capital base. This problem arises because of a poor background of most rural farmers who form the bulk of these societies' political influence. Even though cooperatives are not supposed to be in politics, many of the societies have found their ways into politics. Some were forced to declare for a particular political party as against the wish of some members, thereby causing conflicts and rifts among themselves. Illiteracy of members. Most members of cooperative societies in Nigeria are illiterate. The result is that most of them may be ignorant of the potential gains of cooperative. Weak management. Cooperative officers are drawn from among members who are mainly farmers. They may lack administrative and managerial competence to handle the business efficiently. I hope you've learned one or two things from this video section. Kindly read more in your study materials for more understanding and explanation. Join me for the next study section. Thank you for listening.